Before getting hands-on with SSL decryption example, let us see how HTTPS traffic works. First of all, the application, web browser or a mobile application will request a secure page from the server. The server will receive this request and will send its public key along with the certificate. Now, the web browser or the application will have to do a couple of important steps. First, it needs to make sure that the certificate it received is not expired, it is not revoked, and it is issued by a trusted party, and it's not like a generic self-signed certificate. And on top of that, it needs to ensure that the common name in the certificate matches the name of the website it is connecting to. So after that, the browser will create a symmetric key and sends it to the server by encrypting it with the public key it received in step 2. Now the server will receive this message and will decrypt it using its private key, of course. Now the mobile application, the web browser and the web server, they have a common symmetric key. The web server will encrypt its messages, its pages, information that will send to the client using this symmetric key, and the client will decrypt this information using as well the symmetric key. Taking into consideration what I just mentioned, we will take an example of a mobile application connecting to a server. Now, looking for vulnerabilities in a mobile application represents multiple challenges, one of which is the ability to intercept and maybe edit the encrypted communication between the mobile device and the server it's talking to. Knowing the content of the communication is very important when we're looking for possible leaks of information and maybe sensitive information. Now, we will see in the example coming that or how to set up a proxy server that will allow us to analyze the communication taking place between the mobile application and the server. So usually this is a trivial man-in-the-middle attack. We redirect the traffic going from the mobile application to a proxy server. For that, we need to install the certificate issued by the proxy server, which is a self-generated or self-signed certificate. The certificate needs to be installed on the mobile application. So now we're trusting the communication with the proxy on our mobile, and we will be able to use SSL here and decrypt the communication since we have the public key and the private key. So now we have two channels, one between the mobile and the proxy and the other between the proxy and the server. The channel between the mobile and the proxy is using our fake or self-generated certificate, and we will be able to look into this channel because we have the public key and the private key, and the other channel is actually between the proxy server and this original server, which is using actually the original certificate provided by the server itself. On our mobile application, as we said, we need to change the proxy settings to refer to the IP and the port number of the proxy we have just set up. It is good to mention that we will be using a proxy server called Charles for this demo, but you can use any proxy servers available out there because the concept is the same. You can use Burp, you can use Fiddler, you can use man-in-the-middle proxy. On top of that, you can as well download applications, especially on Android devices, that mimic this whole setup. It will be easier for you to just download an application which will install a certificate on the mobile application, and you will be able to monitor or capture the traffic and analyze it. You can use SSH Droid or Proxy Droid usually, and many other applications on the Google Store out there. So let's go directly and see how we will actually demo the SSL decryption. To start with, you need to go to charlesproxy.com and install the proxy from there. After that, you open the application and you will be presented by this interface. Now we need to go to our mobile device and route all the traffic from this mobile through the proxy. For that, you go to the Wi-Fi connection that you're currently connected to, and then you go to configure proxy. You select manual, and then you use the server and the port, which is Charles, running on. To do that, you go to help menu, SSL proxying, then install Charles root certificate on a mobile device, and it will tell you its IP and the port number that it's actually running on. So now we use this information to configure our mobile to pass all the traffic through the proxy. Now I'll go to browser here on the mobile, and if if you noticed, it told you that then browse to this URL here to download and install the certificate. So it generated a self-signed certificate which we need to install on our mobile device. To do that, we open the browser and go to charles.pro/SSL, and it will prompt us to install this profile or certificate. You just press install, again install, and done. Now we have installed the certificate. Now if you go to proxy, SSL proxy settings, and this should be disabled by default. So let's now work without enabling SSL proxy. Okay, I'll just open a generic mobile app from my mobile device and try to log in using these generic username and password. Fine, so just press login, and notice here on the left side Charles highlighted this event that is taking place here. So if you press on that, you go here to tell you that SSL proxying is not enabled. Then you go to content and see that it is a scrambled content since the connection to the server is encrypted and we're not able to see any of this traffic. So to do that, or to be able to see or check the tunnel, you go to proxy, SSL proxy test settings, then enable SSL proxy, keeping in mind that we've already installed the certificate on our mobile, and you just press OK again. I will go again to my mobile application and try to, let me clear this session here now, and from the mobile application I'll just log in again. Okay, you will see that activity here, and now you'll see that some file structure is being populated under this URL here. If you go here to this file, go to content, you will be able to see the username and password that we used along with other information. The information on the top is the request, and the information at the bottom is the response we got from the server. Since this is unauthenticated response, this is what we got from the server. From the sequence here, you will be able to see all the connections that are being passed through this proxy and the result. So this is actually a successful attempt. We got some cookie information, API URL information, although the attempt to sign in was not successful. But using that, we were able to get some information. Go again to this mobile. Try to sign in with my username and password. So let me hide this down here and use my username and password to authenticate to this application. Keep in mind that we're doing this just to test our application if it's really secure over there on the internet. So I'll press now login, and just notice I'll just create a new session here. I'll press login, and you just notice the activities that are taking place under this URL. So I will not press here because you'll see my username and password, but actually it generated lots of information, authorization codes, profile related information, cookies, some internal hierarchy on the server. So the more you navigate through the app, the more information you'll be able to get. See, I'm now pressing around this application, and it's just popping up all the information that is passing through the proxy. Now, as we said earlier, we have two connections now from our mobile app to the proxy, which is kindly HTTP now because we were able to decrypt it using our keys that we know, and the other connection is from the proxy to the server itself. So here we go, lots of information. Just you can see all the responses in JSON format. Let me see what else we can see here. So the most important thing is that if this proxy is on for example, hotspot, and users are authenticating through it, they will be able to see all this information. I just want to show you this important information here. Under the cookies, this is the information that we're able to get. Under the text form, you will see this URL with the device token, username and password to authenticate. Under the form, this is the information, and under the raw format as well, similar kind of information. So an attacker can use this to generate another attack. So this is an important piece of information that an attacker can get to perform another attack. So the recommendation here is to encrypt this information at the application level, at the code level. So don't depend on the SSL or the encrypted tunnel. No, you have to take these security measures at the level of the application itself while writing the code. Going back to this slide, it's obvious that the mobile application didn't perform some of these steps correctly. Actually, the mobile application isn't checking that the certificate is issued by a trusted authority. It just accepted our self-signed certificate. And unfortunately, mobile application writers often ignore the need to check certificates and they blindly accept any SSL certificate without understanding how SSL works. To protect against that, you need to use certificate pinning. Actually, when you're doing that, you're checking if the certificate name matches the web server name that you are connected to. And once you do that, you will automatically reject any other certificate.